Market forces and random events have conspired against me to make the success of my incubator all but impossible. Functionally, all I've really achieved is running a flop house where guys have shat, jerked off, and paid me no rent.
Welcome to Something Crunchy, the Valley's #1 comedy entertainment podcast. Biscuit is homies with Blake. Blake is the older brother of Blair. And Blair is married to Biscuit. Here are your hosts, Colin Blake with Blair and Tyler Dressel.
All right. Welcome to Something Crunchy. I'm Colin Blake. With me as always, Blair and Tyler Dressel. Thank you for joining us by way of 97.3 The Rattler, or wherever you get your podcast. We have an incredibly crunchy guest joining us tonight. He's an actor, writer, producer, and stand-up comedian who you've seen in Silicon Valley, Deadpool 1 and 2, Office Christmas Party, Ready Player One, and he'll be back in the desert performing at Stand Up Live Friday, June 23rd and Saturday the 24th. Please welcome DJ Miller.
How you guys do? I love that. You got a great radio voice. There's no way around it. I wanted to bring up on the air how funny it was when I said it's a family affair. And you guys said, well, you can say whatever you want. Feel free to cuss or whatever you want to do. And right as I was about to say, well, it's a family affair, but it's not fucking family friendly. There was a young kid trying to get into the hotel door and he didn't have a key. So I had to let him in and, tell him it's okay, help him open the door. And so he really fucked up my timing. Fucking little shit. I'm so excited to come to hot, sunny Phoenix in the summer. I'm catching it before July and August when people's brains start to melt.
Yes.
Arizona is the only place that I've ever sweat at night. And the first time it happened, it was so bizarre because I didn't know what was going on. Because you don't think, if it's dark out and there's a full moon high in the sky, you don't sweat. That's kind of how Earth works in the inhabitable parts of it where humans live. And so I hadn't even thought of it. And so it's like 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. It's very much the night. And I'm talking to this guy and my eyes start burning. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I don't think I had smoked weed yet. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. And then they kind of kept burning and I was rubbing them. And then suddenly I noticed that my hands were wet on the backs of them. And I was like, what is going on? Is it raining? It can't be raining this late at night. And in Phoenix, it never rains. And then I touched my forehead and I was sopping wet, was just drenched in sweat. Mm-hmm. And I go, what is happening? And I looked at and it was 111 degrees at night.
Yes.
Okay. If a sauna is 111 degrees, you don't really stay in it that long. That's kind of, that would be something where you would get out in 5 minutes. I've been standing out there. So to me, Arizona is so bizarre and interesting. And I'm excited to come back. I have this whole chunk on guns that I only do in Arizona. Only. if I did this material in Seattle, I would be arrested.
We would hit the same.
It would be the decency codes of Lenny Bruce in the fucking 50s. It is so absolutely, it is not Republican, but it is so absolutely against the stuff that, these sort of fake arguments and all this stuff that come out against guns. I don't have politics about it. I don't do political humor or anything like that. But I simply just say something that only Arizonans seem to understand, which is I just feel like everybody who rails about guns and against guns and take everyone's guns away, we don't need guns. I wish right after they yelled and did that argument, they had to shoot a machine gun because it is so fun and you feel so amazing.
It is fun.
It is.
Huge smile. You leave with this huge smile on your face and you can't, I feel like it should be a requirement. And if I do that anywhere else, I've tried it. Everyone's like, you're a bad person. I don't want to be around you anymore.
Our gun-friendly audience here in the Wild West is going to be so receptive to that. They're going to go nuts.
It's so fun. Yeah. They love it every time I talk about it. So I love Arizona. And I'm one of these guys that, when I go to every state. Except for Alaska. That's dangerous. And I don't know what's going on up there. I talked to one guy in Alaska. I did play it once. And he goes, I said, what do you think about living in Alaska? And he stopped for a second. And he said, everyone in Alaska is either running from something or they're hiding from something. And then he continued to drive in silence. And I was like, okay, I gotta get out of here.
I'm out of here.
Love that answer.
And that's also the place I went to. There's a famous room in Fairbanks, Alaska, which is like a much smaller place than Anchorage. And it was called the Blue Loon. And like Snoop Dogg had played it, and all these like famous huge acts had played it because it's such a good room. So the day before I was in Anchorage, I played Chilkoot Charlie's, which is one of those really classy places where bras are hanging from the ceiling and there's sawdust on the floor and people sit on barrels.
Very
And so,
cosmopolitan.
Yes.
Yeah, after like cosmopolitan, that's the word I was looking for. And I had too many syllables for me to remember it. And so after that, me and my buddy Cash Levy, who I have a podcast that everybody should listen to and subscribe to if they enjoyed it. It's called Cashing In with TJ Miller.
Oh, yeah.
And its host Cash Levy, who I think is one of the funniest people working today. He has an interview show called Cashing In, and he just has he has a tough time getting guests. I don't know if he's not well liked in the scene or something, but so I've been the only guest on the podcast for 7 years. So it's a really, really fun one, and you get to know a lot about me, a lot about him. But it's a completely absurdist thing. It's so fun. But he was up there with me at Chilkoot Charlie's, and after that, we were like, oh my God, we don't want to do Fairbanks. What is Fairbanks going to be like? You know? And my agent called me like almost at that moment. And he said, oh, you guys, the venue in Fairbanks is on fire. And I was like, I've heard it's good, but you think it's so good, it's on fire? And he goes, no, literally, it's on fire right now. And I was like, what? And it was on fire. And so the Blue Loon burned down the day before we were supposed to play it.
No.
And so what I did was I went up there and we went to this, pioneer recreation thing that had a theater. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And I did the show, and then I gave I think half of the proceeds to the people who own the Blue Loon to help them rebuild it and try and get it back and moving, because it was the pride of Fairbanks, Alaska.
Oh, that's cool.
But I play I'd say almost every single state, and I love going all over the country. And I've got people in New York and California who are just like, oh my God, what's Arizona like? Aren't they crazy there? And I'm like, no, they're okay. It's like, well, what do you even do there? What can you talk to them about? And I'm
Oh my God.
just the things that you would talk to anybody about. It's not like you go into a red state or a more red state and suddenly they're just rabidly shooting each other. And if you mention anything except for Donald Trump. So it's really nice to go to the states that are just you guys are really out there in Arizona, but it's really, really fun. And it ain't nothing but a good time. So
It is really fun.
Stand-up live is supposed to be amazing.
And we are a purple state now, and half of us...
Yeah, that's right. I was saying Phoenix is probably not at all.
Not at all. And California is moving over here. It's half Californians in Arizona. If you want to know what it's outside of Arizona.
I want to apologize to you guys about that. Not that I represent California. I live in New York City, but I want to apologize for the amount of Californians that are invading your space.
When you tour, do you like to go out and explore the city you're in, or do you go straight to the hotel after your set, David Spade style?
I love that he does have that reputation, which also Michael Jordan did that.
Yes,
I like to explore the city. I'm kind of now a little too... It's weird. My celebrity and fame is sort of... I talk about this in the show, the different levels of fame, because I think it's really interesting. When I first kind of started to become famous, you can't really go out because people want a picture with you and they just don't respect your space or anything like that. So then I used to go to bars after and just go party after the show. And so then that kind of stopped, And then now I'm sort of entering a phase where people don't really ask to take pictures anymore because they think it's disrespectful.
You've reached that level of fame where it's we don't want to bother you.
I'm not quite at the, hey, I hate to interrupt. And I'm not quite at the not taking pictures with you ever, but I am at the level where sometimes I'll introduce myself and they'll go, no, I know who you are. I just didn't want to, mention it or you make it weird or anything. So last night we went to a cigar bar because the guy I'm working with, it was his 40th birthday, which is really exciting. We used to be in a comedy group in college, actually. We met in college. He's a writer for The Daily Show now. And and so which he hates. And so because of the Californian type people that are invading Arizona, and so I took him out to a cigar bar last night, and now, you know, if I find the right like vibe, it's really fun because, you know, you maybe get one drunk kid who's like, "Hey, how'd your show, man? Take a shot with me," and then you sort of deal with that. You gotta deal with that, and then you can kind of move on to the other stuff. And places sort of, you know, because I don't get out of the shows until like midnight. Places sort of will stay open, and that's really nice because then they kind of clear everybody else out, and you can just sort of chill and listen to your music and stuff. So that's what I do. I'm not yet at like go home right away to the hotel famous like David Spade, you know?
Okay, so you'll go out and hang out a bit.
Yeah, and what I love to do, of course, it's during the day. I love to like hear, like, I want to know from you guys, like, what's the cool craft brewery? And like, what's the Phoenix food that you kind of can't miss out on? And then I hit art museums usually because my wife is a artist. She's an installation artist.
Yeah,
who's,
shout out to Kate.
very famous in the south of. Thank you. She's gonna appreciate that. She's very famous in the south of France, and yeah, people should follow her. She's Rose Petal Pistol on Instagram.
Definitely.
And so I like to hit an art museum to see if there's any installation art or anything worth kind of talking to her about. And I like art. Otherwise, I wouldn't have married an artist.
We do get the
I would have married a stripper. A daytime stripper.
Of course.
Let me make that clear, Tyler. All right. It would be a daytime, ends the shift at around 4:30 type of stripper.
Okay.
Okay.
Matinee.
Breakfast buffet, Tyler.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking
All you
about.
can eat, baby. Yeah,
Typically
I hear you.
Okay. Smoked a pack of cigarettes by 8 a.m. stripper. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right.
But
Now you're,
instead,
now
I
you're
got
talking
left
about
with
language.
this cultured Michigan export. Grew up on a horse farm. Now she's the toads to Manhattan. So yeah, but I want to hear, like, what would you guys say? What is the, you know, what's the cool brewery? Where are the spots that I should hit?
Pizza Bianco in your area by the venue down
Oh,
there.
wait a second. I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's
Because
good.
I talked to David Angelo today. I go, hey, wait, you know, I'm going out there, and because he said, what's the best food in each region? I was going through them, and I said, but I stopped eating pizza because everyone in every state, every city is like, oh, the best pizza you'll ever have. It's the best pizza. And then they'll say, oh, really? They'll say like, yeah, it's the mellow mushroom.
Oh,
Like,
come
what the fucking
on.
chain,
No,
dude?
I wouldn't.
What are you talking about?
Bell?
And then I said, he goes, wait, aren't you going to Phoenix though? I said, yeah. He goes, dude, there's this pizza place that's like nationally ran,
Yep.
and it's Pizza Bianco. Is that what it's called?
Yep. Yeah, it's near the downtown area. You'll be able to find it on foot.
And it's supposed to be amazing, right? Is he from Brooklyn?
I don't know a
Or
story.
Queens or something?
Yeah, I don't know his story either. I've heard of
Chris
this place.
Bianco,
whatever,
is
who
that the
cares?
name?
And then for food wise, it's either Mexican food or steakhouses. But for where you are, that's
Yeah.
definitely the right choice.
Yeah, Mexican food, El Encanto in Cave Creek.
And then
number one.
brewery. I mean, there's like
El
Santan
Encanto.
and like Chandler. but
Yeah, that's kind of out
Oso?
there. Oso's pretty good, but kind of local.
kind of local. Yeah, it's hard for like the downtown Phoenix. And
We'll
it
get back to you
changes
on
all
that
the
one.
time. We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. If you guys will get back to that one,
There's-
that's what's fun. You know, that's what I think is interesting.
Well, it's cool you like to go out and about though, and there are a lot of the immersive art experiences out here, at least that come through Phoenix.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of those. Those are typically pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so I'll be kind of looking out for something like that. But
For
that's
sure.
really the deal. And then, you know, the other thing is right now, I should be doing more of this, but there is some sort of hotel time because I just had a special drop called Dear Jonah, and then I have two more specials in the can. One called the Philosophy Circus, and the other is called the Gentle Giant. And then I also filmed a special in Spokane, Washington, a special in Springfield, Missouri, and then one in San Francisco, in fact, where I make fun of San Francisco because they deserve it. And that's really fun. But like the Springfield special is all crowd work. It's like completely like, you know, it's like 45 minutes or an hour of
That's
crowd
awesome.
work, but I cut it down. It gets cut down to, you know, whatever it is, 27 or 37 minutes. And then it's really funny because the Spokane, Washington thing is, it's like I do like 45 minutes just on Spokane. And it's so ridiculous because if you don't live there, you don't really get the references.
That's challenging.
But the reason I did it is I did this show in Chanute, Kansas, and I just did material on Chanute, Kansas. And I thought it was so funny, and they put it online. And like years and years and years later, it had a lot of hits. Like I don't know how many hits, but like a lot. And these guys started, not guys, just people would come up to me after certain shows, like every few weeks or something, and they would be like, "Oh man, you know what? I loved you in Deadpool, and your stand-up show was great tonight. But I love that Chanute, Kansas show. Is that how you say it? Chanute? Is it Chanute or Chanute?" And I'm like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "So funny." And I said to this one guy, I go, "But you don't know anything about Chanute, right?
Like, why do you care?
Like it's so many references." And he goes, "That's what's so funny. You have no frame of reference for this, and you're just like laying." And so I realized that like you don't have. It's like when Cat Williams did a special where the first like fucking 10 minutes or something are just on Jacksonville, Florida, because that's where he taped the special. And it's like nobody knows about Jacksonville. Nobody's from there who lives anywhere else. Like it's like. So that just, and I always thought that was so funny. So the Spokane thing is really fun because nobody really knows about it, but they have a drinking problem as a city. And
in large.
Collectively.
It's so fun. I mean, the funniest thing about them is that every business at the very end of the name, it says that they have alcohol. So it'll be like Ray's Pizza and Wine. Then another place will be like burgers, beers, crafts, and brews. And I'm like, aren't those the same words for the one thing? And then they actually have a place called Soups and Spirits.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
It's like
how
super
fucking
salad.
insane that is?
God.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
So
things could happen
and they
there.
don't think that's weird. None of them think that's strange. They're like, "Come on in for a vodka tonic and a New England clam chowder." What the fuck is going on? So that's hilarious. So that's a really fun one too. And so these are like multi-camera, and also interacting with the audience. And I kind of realized because I riff so much and improvise so much and do a lot of crowd work that it's just like that's kind of what I need to clip up and put out there, and that's sort of what that kind of really is my forte.
It is
like,
your forte. Yeah, that's your best stuff.
Yeah, on Joe Rogan, like Ari Shaffir and Mark Norman and Shane Gillis, I call them the White Guy Mafia. We're all on there, and they just said the nicest thing. They were just like, you can get on stage with nothing, just empty gun holsters. I always bring it back to guns, and and just go on forever. And it's kind of true. It's like my background is as an improviser, and I just consider the audience my scene partner, kind of. And then it's just mostly improvising about where I am and what happened to me that day. I just got back from a world tour. Let's be honest, mostly Europe. And because what am I going to do? Go to Beijing? Why would I do that? Why would I head over to St. Petersburg and see what the fuck is going on with them? It's so funny. It's so great to live in a world where you can openly just hate Russian people. And so what I would do is I would get there the day before, sometimes the day of, which was a bummer. But I get there the day before, and I would just learn about the country and talk to the people and sort of see about and try and understand the culture. And I just go on stage and like riff for 20 minutes about it. And they couldn't believe it. Like Swedish people were like, how the fuck did you learn about Stockholm, Sweden so fast? And, I said, well, look, that's kind of what I do. And it was crazy. Like I went to Estonia, and I'd never been to Estonia. I didn't know where it was, for God's sake. And they were really, really funny. But I talked to some people there, and I would ask them, so what do you like about Estonia? And it was almost always the same thing. It's very beautiful here, it's beautiful everywhere. Everywhere here is beautiful. And I said, what don't you like about Estonia? And everybody would go, well, nobody care about you or anything about you. They don't have emotions. For people, they don't care if you live or die. But it's very beautiful. Everywhere, very beautiful.
To live or
And
die. Oh my
yeah. And I mean, that's what they would say. They really were like, nobody has any emotions. No one cares about each other. Like it's very, very strange there.
Wow.
And so it was really fun. And like in Norway, for some reason, I'm very famous in Norway.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of figure out how to navigate. That's a culture that doesn't laugh very loud. Like if in America, if you think something's really funny, you laugh like this. You go, oh my god!
The
Oh
cough
God.
after.
And the exact same level of laughter in Oslo, Norway, is this. That's it.
You're killing.
That's all you get.
So it's hard to know when
you're
you're tearing up a room.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you get like chuckles throughout, you're fucking killing. You're
Rocking.
massacring. Yeah, and so that was really interesting, but it was a grinding tour. It was 15 cities in 13 countries in 21 days, where I did 21 shows. So I averaged one show each day, and I went, and that was really crazy. And then we ended in Lisbon, Portugal, which was really fun. They're really fun. Greece is really fun, but they clap every time they laugh. Let me repeat that, just so we all can understand how bizarre that is. Because they're like, oh, you got applause breaks. That's great. No, every time they laugh, they clap. So it fucks with your timing, because you're like, da-da-da-da, and you say something that's kind of funny, and they're like,
You're missing the
and then you just go back to
punchline.
regular. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So anyway, I thought, so that was too much. But we ended in Lisbon, and Kate came and met me. She was in the south of France, in Toulouse. And then we went from there to Madrid. And then Kate, we had her birthday in Rome, in Italy. And I got to tell you guys, it was so fun. But I kind of missed the tour. Like, I adore the grind. I love performing. It's so fun. And stand-up is just like, I mean, you've heard it from everybody, but it's like, it's so addictive, and it's so nice to kind of see people laugh, and you can tell, you get to look at them as they're laughing, and you can tell they're not thinking about anything. They're not worried about what happened today.
Yeah.
The people that had a fight on the way over in the car, that couple, it's not pissed at anybody or anything like that. And there's really very few things as gratifying as that. So like already I'm psyched that I'm in wherever I am. Rhode Island, that's where I am. In Providence, Rhode Island right now, playing a club, because it's just awesome. And the audience, and thank God for American audiences. I was telling them that last night. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a great perspective, and it's really cool that you get to do it worldwide. And I've heard you say how, in general, an audience comes to see you and not necessarily the material. And you said that in your case, you have a quality that comes off in film and television where you'd be a really fun person to hang out with in real life. One, that's 100% true. But were there any actors or comedians when you were coming up that you felt that way about, or that inspired you to get into comedy?
Whoa, someone did their research and prepared a question. That's really exciting, man. This is good stuff. You should have a show. I'm serious. So I think, I'm not fucking around, man.
You said it.
It's true. So I think I think kind of in the sense of what you're talking about, I think I really always loved Nick Swardson. I just
Nick
thought
Swardson.
he was so funny, and he made me laugh so hard, and he also just seemed like a dude you want to fucking drink with
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
party with, and you know that he's gonna have funny stuff to say, and he's gonna kind of fuck with the waitress, but she'll love it, and he's gonna end up taking his shirt off and like, proposing marriage to somebody in the room, like you just at the bar, and so I think that he had that vibe, and I always like that, because like Steve Martin was one of my biggest influences, and you never were like, I'd love to have dinner with that guy. It's just that wasn't his deal. He's just so weird.
That's true.
But for that particular energy, I think, and I met Steve Martin. I did this table read. He wanted me to do this thing, And I just said to him, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you you're a huge part of the reason I'm into the comedy, that I got into comedy. I introduced myself. It was like, oh, no, I know who you are. I mean, obviously, it was very funny. That was like one of the hugest moments of my life.
That's
right
awesome.
next to when Kate did an impression of me, and it was spot on. It involved like like a gorilla or something. And I think that's the difference. He was very severe, Whereas when I met Nick Swardson for the first time in Los Angeles, he's like, "Hey man," he just sidled up to the bar with me and just started talking to me. And he said, "Oh, that guy in New York, I know him. He's like, he's so weird to me." And this, and he was like, "Let's do a shot." We both do shots, and it was so funny. And then he took me out to dinner once at a sushi place, and it was so fun. And he kind of just openly talked about his life. And I've been doing this since I was 18, and this about Adam Sandler. And I think that is a really important part of my stand-up, and the reason that I've been successful in film and television is that it really is kind of me, and I really am a kind, friendly, fun guy to hang out with who kind of doesn't really give a fuck about anything, which is always a good time and fun to be around, and really just want everybody to be happy. I mean, I play different parts in movies and television. But the character that's the closest to me is Clay from Office Christmas Party.
Really?
So that was really smart of Steven Spielberg to do, because he figured, this kid. Almost everything I've done is because of Steven Spielberg. So other people, Judd Apatow sort of props them up like Pete Holmes and Amy Schumer and
right.
Bill Hader, all those people. He's kind of Seth Rogen. And I was really never in that crew. That's a big thing for me I've discovered in my life is I'm usually on the outside looking in. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's like I don't quite fit or I don't give a fuck and people take that as like arrogance or something, or I'm just too, I don't really have a lot of theories on that. But I never fell in with the Apatow crew. But Steven Spielberg put me in my first television show, Carpoolers. And then he did How to Train Your Dragon, Transformers 4, Age of Extinction. He was a producer on that. He gave notes on Cloverfield. He directed and put me in Ready Player One. He wrote a part for me in that. He bought the first movie pitch that I had ever done that was like a really good idea for a movie. So he's been behind the scenes the whole time. He's like my Great Expectations puppet master.
That's awesome.
And then
it's a good one.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And what we've all realized, and I'm sure you guys know this, is I'm a commercial artist. I'm not really like an indie film like actor guy, I'm not like chasing awards and shit. I'm sort of the most
artist, yeah.
The most indie I get, if you can even call it indie, is Mike Judge. He's the most like off the grid type of guy that I do. And then Silicon Valley became this huge like Beavis and Butthead level fucking thing because he's a genius and he's so amazing. But outside of that, I mostly do commercial art, which is why Andy Warhol is a huge influence of mine. It's like him and the Marx Brothers and W.C. Fields, and I guess Steve Martin also. But I really like commercial stuff because I like making a lot of people laugh, and I don't like talking down to people. And so I'm willing to do what elitists say is pandering, like the Emoji Movie, because we all know that, boy, the internet really tore that apart. That was so funny. All these people are writing like, TJ is such an idiot. Why would he ever do the Emoji Movie? Blah, blah. He left Silicon Valley to do the Emoji Movie. And I'm like, dude, hey, keyboard warriors, this isn't for you. This is for kids ages 4 to 11.
It's like legit one of our kids' favorite movies.
And it's for them and their parents who are sick of their fucking yelling and just are like, okay, I'm putting this movie on, just watch this. That's like what we did the Emoji Movie for. So it always really makes me laugh when people like try and tear apart stuff that I've done, which isn't very often because I've been fortunate to be in almost exclusively great stuff. But I just really, but I am an Emoji Movie type of guy because I want kids to laugh. and I want parents to not have to feel like they're suffering through some shitty kids movie.
Right.
No,
So
we
I try and make it
appreciate
as
you
funny
for
as I
that.
can. Yeah, it's like I did a pass on the Emoji Movie, and I rewrote stuff and then did a lot of improvisation because I was like, if the parents are gonna have to watch it like 100 times because
Yes,
that's what
we
little
do.
kids want to do, then I hope that it's funny. And then I have some lines in there where the parents are like, oh God, this guy's fucking he's ridiculous. So that's what I'm interested in. Like the next movie, the movie that I'm working on right now, and it's gonna star in it and all that stuff, is another Christmas movie. Because I'm more like Santa Claus than Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas or something, which was a huge, important movie. I mean, it's like one of my favorite movies. But that's what's really interesting to me. And I am probably going to do sort of a produced, like small financiers, like a very small, really like inexpensive, more of a character piece. It's like a period piece about the pandemic. And I think I'm going to make that a feature. I'm going to do a short with it. It's actually a series, but
Wow.
but it's and that will be smaller, and that is going to be submitted to festivals, and so I am going to do that. But I just had this idea that was just not expensive at all. It was like insane to me when I came up with it, and it's actually about movie culture when the pandemic hit, and then when they first opened up theaters and nobody was going.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And so, yeah, it's really interesting because the reason is I went to a movie in Salt Lake City, like right when they opened the movie theaters back up, which I think was actually summer 2020. I think when it was like getting so bad economically that they just had to do it. I walked in there and there was no one there. There's no one working in the movie theater. And I was like, hello? It was like a 30-screen megaphone. Hello? And I was like, okay, I guess no one's here. So I bought a ticket from the kiosk, and I saw a woman, the only person working there was trying to explain the concessions to an elderly couple. I didn't want to interrupt. So I scanned my own ticket, okay, and then went in to watch the movie by myself. And it was this great movie. It was called like The Late Shift or Last Shift or something. It's fucking an amazing movie. Yeah, it's so good. It's about a guy who's quitting, who had worked at this like McDonald's for like 50 years or something, basically. And then a young black kid is getting his job, and it's about their relationship, and it's beyond fascinating. It's so well done. But so I watched that, and it was so magical. It reminded me of like how important going to a movie is, and to see a movie that size and scope. And it was a small movie, it was a character piece, And so this movie that I'm going to do is kind of about that moment in movie history and in film culture. So I'm excited about that. But that's
a great
awesome.
idea.
And it's crazy all the directors that you've worked with. You mentioned your relationship with Spielberg and product Mike Judge. I'm curious, if they made a movie about your life and you got to choose between Steven Spielberg, Michael Bay, or Michael Judge to direct it, who would you choose?
Well, how commercially successful do I want it to be? Am I doing it to make a lot of money?
You get points on the back.
You're doing
the
it.
Truth of TJ.
You're doing it for authenticity.
I think that's a pretty interesting toss-up because I'm trying to make a movie with Michael Bay. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Okay.
I'd like to make a movie with the Russo brothers, because I think they're amazing. But they're like, they're getting it's really big for them right now. It's $1 billion studio. It's a lot, It's like a mega lot. But so I am interested in making a film with Michael Bay, and I think for authenticity's sake. But here's the thing. So for who I am, Steven Spielberg basically was like, "You're like Santa Claus, and so we're gonna put you in this movie, and you're gonna be kind of this guy who wants to save the company, wants everybody to have a good time. Is just kind of an innocent, and he was really smart to do that because now people watch that every year. And so they're kind of reminded of that, which I think is really interesting.
Absolutely.
And that was done on purpose, completely. And in this next movie, I return kind of as sort of a Santa Claus figure, not like actually Santa Claus, but that I think that's the thing that I want to do next, is sort of another version of that guy. So in a way, this movie that we're making it would be an allegory or something, but it is about me and kind of who I am and how misunderstood I've been and how hard it is to be sort of different but special in some ways, and in other ways, I mean, I had an AVM. I had a brain malformation, and I had that removed in 2010 after doing Yogi Bear 3D. I know that's your favorite movie, but I don't want to talk about it. People come to me and say, I want to tell you, Yogi Bear 3D is my favorite movie. And I'm like, well, what do you think about Ready Player One? I don't want to talk about that, TJ. I want to talk about Yogi Bear 3D and how it's my favorite movie in the world and how you're the best. I'm like, I know, I give myself an award for it. A Critics' Choice, leave me alone. So right after that, I had a brain hemorrhage, and I started to narrate my own behavior and just actually physically go crazy. Like chemically in my brain, I was going crazy. It wasn't at the time, because you think that you're an elevated mind and you've moved to the next level, and that's what happens to brilliant people, and you get obsessed with entanglement puzzles, but you're pretty good at them, so you're like, okay, it's absolutely happening. And then you invite two girls from Chat Roulette who live in Liverpool to come on set just to be everybody's friend, and they come, and it's like this incredible experience for them, and the whole crew is like, oh my God, now we have completely fresh eyes here that think that this movie is magical. And so they stop being jaded. And Anna Faris is like absolutely obsessed with how crazy you are. So all that's really fun, There's the not sleeping at all and kind of racing thoughts and narrating your own behavior and conversations. That's, a little tiring. But anyway, that hemorrhage, and then I had a surgery to remove a golf ball sized piece of my right frontal lobe.
Wow.
And, that's a pretty big part of the story, because I have always been manic since I was a kid. But after the operation, the mania has been very difficult to manage in some ways. And so, I've always had, but I have a battery of mental health professionals that see to it that I kind of don't go crazy, but that I can still do what I do and still create and make people laugh. And because they all believe in me, they all kind of, that makes me want to cry. They all really believe in me, and they're like, we can help. So I have a neuropsychologist and a psychiatrist and a temperance counselor and a neurologist. And I have all these people that are responsible from keeping me alive. They're responsible to keep me alive and keep me sane and sort of tempered with the mania enough that I can keep making millions of people laugh. And so that would be a big part of my story, obviously.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's crazy you went through that, man.
Yeah, but I think for authenticity's sake, it's like maybe Mike Judge, I think, but I doubt it would be commercially successful. Because he does better in the television space, I think, because it's a larger, you can create a wider world.
There's a good fit there, though. I see why you would say that. And Spielberg has the more biopic feel down, but Michael Bay, and you guys have that relationship too. I would just like to see you leverage that ask with Michael Bay for like the world's best sex tape, because he created that whole genre, just like an action-packed, intense, and explosive with a memorable score.
And he's so crazy to work with, but I would yell at him. I would come right back at him. And so, and he really, really, really thinks I'm funny, and he is very funny. And so I think he also likes that I recognize that. But he's a good dude, he's just a good dude. It's just when you wield 300 people and $500 million, that's very difficult. And so different people they have different techniques for doing that. And he's kind of like more militant than like Spielberg, who's a little more like, Gandhi. It's
Okay.
like there are different types of leaders.
That's
But
interesting.
both of them are good. We're happy there was Gandhi, but we're also happy there was General Patton.
Right.
You need
them
both
both,
for history to progress. Yeah, you got to have all those things. So it would be really interesting with Bay, and I think I would love the opportunity for him to do something that's more like nuance and sentimentality.
Yeah.
And have a little more substance, because he has sentimental moments in his films, obviously, because you have to. It would be interesting. I mean, did you guys see Steven Spielberg's biopic that he did of himself?
The Fablemans from this last year. Yeah, I saw that.
Did you guys see it?
I did see that.
I thought that was lovely. I thought it was the final frame, the final moment in the film is like maybe one of the best of all of cinema.
Really?
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's like the fact that he did that, and then the end of the movie is that thing that sort of explains everything, and suddenly you're like it's amazing.
Are you talking about the meeting where he goes into the office and talks to what's
exactly,
his name? Okay,
with David
yes.
Lynch.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
And but that, and then when he comes out of there, I mean, I'm not going to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, but he sort of walks out of there and they do something with the camera that is just like one of the most brilliant things that I've ever seen in cinema, really.
Ooh, I need to see it.
And it helps. I think it helps. Yeah, you should definitely see it. I think it helps that I know him a little bit, and like Kate knows him also. But he can fucking do it all. You know, I mean, that movie is unbelievably sweet and sentimental. He did Schindler's List. So he can literally do anything.
Yeah.
So I think I would probably do it with him, sort of being a commercial artist. And I think he's really good at presenting the softness of people, even when they have terrible, terrible things happening to them and have to undergo terrible, terrible stressors, right? He can sort of really like slice through and say, no, this person is like this.
That's true.
I want you to see the humanity
Schindler's
of this
List
person.
is a perfect example of that.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Is, you know, you watch the world assault a person and try and destroy them and tear them down, and against all odds, they just kind of keep going and try and bare their soul and continue to be kind and retain their humanity. And so I think that would be something that he does really, really well. And I think it's very interesting. That's an interesting question, because people always say, if there could be a movie about your life, who would you have play you in the movie?
Right.
And I think that's the dumbest fucking question you could ever. It is so superficial. It is so dumb. And there's only two types of answers. One where it's like, well, I really would like a handsome guy to do it. Or another one where it's like, wouldn't this be hilarious if this person did it? But it's like, who cares about casting?
Yeah,
Right.
it's not about that.
You cut through and said, which filmmaker would you collaborate with? Would you? Yeah, and that's really interesting. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that. And I think that it's because you're also talking to me like I am as like a filmmaker, because you'd be, like you said, like making a film with Michael Bay, because I also would write that. Like my whole life, my dream was to become a filmmaker where I wrote and starred in my own films, but I didn't direct them. And then a stand-up comic,
right,
who like performed all over the country, and I guess the world. And that's like what's happening for me right now. And so it's a really special time in my life. I guess what I'm saying is something's really crunchy right now.
Yes, DJ.
Living your crunchiest
So
life.
happy
Living your
for
crunchiest
you.
life. And
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Do you guys say that? Living your crunchiest life?
we
We
absolutely
do
do.
every
And-
single episode.
I am unashamed to say that is exactly what we say around here. And
We also tell people to be crunchy to one another.
And I do appreciate
Yeah.
the compliment. I want to keep it crunchy. Let's talk about peanut butter.
Look at that! Look at that segue.
God.
Holy
DJ,
shit.
the three of
That
us
transition
smack.
blew my dick off. I don't know if you improvised down or wrote it down, but here we go. I'm gonna have to find my dick after this interview.
The three of
And
us
go to the hospital and
smashed
get some
through
crunchy
a
peanut butter.
jar last night. I mean, we
Yeah.
killed half a jar of this toffee crispy nut in one sitting.
That's the best one.
It was awesome. No kidding.
Sure was.
When you send me the recommendations, give me your address to send. and I'll send you guys like a couple of each kind, and then some of the hot sauce also, because you got to try them all. They're good for different reasons, and different people like them.
We'll be at the
for
show
different
on
reasons.
Saturday. You sell this for merch, do you not?
Oh, I'll just give them to you. That's
Well,
right.
we'll
I'll
pick
just
up
give them
some
to you
anyway
right there.
because we need all of this. I mean,
Yeah, because I want some
they're
extreme
so good.
gangster as well. Yeah, I got to get.
Yeah, that's the hot sauce. So I have my own line of hot sauce because I love hot sauce. And I met this guy when I was recording Mucinex, and it was really, really interesting because he was like an audio engineer, and I went in, but it was in a barn in his farm where I recorded. And after the session, he's like, "Man, that was really funny." And I was like, "Oh, thanks." And he's like, "No, like you made it funny. Like it was a commercial, but it was funny." I was like, "Thank you, man. Yeah, that's like what I try and do." And he goes, "Do you like hot sauce?" And I was like, "Okay, that's an interesting like change of subject."
That's cool.
But yes, I love hot sauce. It's like I have a passion for it. Because I make hot sauce. Do you want to see my pepper farm? Like all my pepper patches? I said, yeah. And so he showed me all of those, and I loved it so much. And we exchanged numbers, and every so often he would send me a bottle of his hot sauce to get my opinion of it, to test it out. So he would do these like small batch runs and see what people liked, and if everybody liked it, then he would like package it and sell it. And then one day, this is years later, so we kind of became friends. He's like, "Would you ever want to collaborate on a hot sauce?" And I said, "Oh yeah, definitely." Are you kidding? But I had never thought about that. And so we kind of got together, and I have 3 different flavors. I have Chipotle smoke, which is sort of smoky, and I love the Chipotle taste, but those sauces are never hot. They're just like sauces. And so this has got some heat to it, some like actual heat. But it's the least hot of the 3. And then the middle one is extreme gangster heat, or as you guys would know it, extreme crunchiness.
Oh.
Extreme crunching.
Now I understand.
Extreme crunching.
Extreme crunching.
Extremely crunchy heat. And so,
Or a
and that
full
one's
moon
your
in Phoenix.
habanero. Exactly. That's kind of your habanero everyday hot sauce, but it's got really good flavor and good heat, and it's not vinegary like Tabasco.
Okay,
That's just not a part of the equation.
Nice.
Good.
You know,
See,
it's
I'm
not
not
about
the
that.
biggest fan of Tabasco, so I feel like I'm gonna like this so much better.
Yeah, I think you will. It has its place, Tabasco does.
Yeah.
And it's very American, but it's not a very high quality hot sauce. And so, and then the last one is called fucking intense ghost pepper type shit,
Oh.
which is always fun to promote on morning television.
Yeah.
Like, thank you.
and so I have to bleep myself out. I'm just like, and this one's called intense ghost pepper type shit. And
Perfected it.
yeah, I know what I'm doing. And that one's great. It's super hot, but it's not like a gimmick. Like Steve-O has a hot sauce, and it's sort of just fucking hot. It's like I
Not
think it's
even
called Burn Your
enjoyable hot.
Butthole.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it's really about that. And so my hot sauce is like you get the ghost pepper flavor. Like ghost pepper is usually just used for the heat because it's so hot, but it actually has a great flavor. Like Carolina Reaper doesn't really have a great flavor. And then my buddy likes Scotch Bonnet a lot, and I haven't really like looked into that. But I love the ghost pepper flavor. So this is just it's fucking intense, but it's very flavorful. And all those are available on Amazon.com and on my website. TJ Miller does not have a website.com. And then strangely, and that guy lives in Indiana. And then strangely, I connected with this other family in Indiana, and they make peanut butter. And it started as their kids start a small business, like in quotes, as like a school project. Like everybody had to start it. And they started a peanut butter company. And so it's called Be Happy Peanut Butter. And my buddy who has the hot sauce, he's got a bunch more great flavors. And he's Scoville Brothers hot sauce.
Oh, wow.
And so the Be Happy Peanut Butter family, I was like, dude, I'm a huge peanut butter fan, and I have a line of hot sauce. Would it be possible for you guys to collaborate with me on peanut butter? And they were like, yeah, of course. And they were fans. That was really cool. And I talked to them, and I worked on all these different ideas. And the one that was my dream would be peanut butter, banana, and honey.
Ooh, oh my,
As,
That's
that's
such
like
a
my
good
favorite
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah, as exactly. So it's sort of a peanut butter spread that has bananas in it
Oh,
and honey, and then chocolate, would also be ideal.
Brilliant.
So it'd be like almost a Reese's peanut butter, banana, honey sandwich feel. And at one point I was like, what if we put like breadcrumbs in there, And so they're talking about that. But the problem is there's no way to do the bananas.
Shelf-stable
Because
banana product, yeah.
it's just not possible. So then I was like, well, what about banana chips? And it was so funny because they tried so many of these things. He goes, banana chips don't really taste like bananas. And I was like, really? And then I thought about it, and it's true. Like dried banana chips don't really taste like bananas. They don't
True.
taste good, really. And so I had to abandon that idea. So we kept like going and figuring stuff out. And we sort of did spins on the amount of things in flavors that they were sort of doing. And so there's cherry chocolate, which is real dried cherries, honey roasted peanuts, and milk chocolate. And that's amazing. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with chocolate. It's fucking incredible. And then dark chocolate coconut. That has almonds in it. It's really, really good. And the ladies love it. So fellas, if you're looking for a Father's Day present for your lady, get on Amazon.com ASAP and give them the belated gift that they'll cherish for about 2.5 days because they're going to fucking kill that shit.
Yes.
And then my favorite is Toffee Crispy, which is toffee, milk chocolate, and Rice Krispies. And it's just so good.
It's good.
So amazing. And these are peanut butters you kind of just eat out of the jar. People will be like, what do you put it on? It always reminds me of this time I was at a cheese shop in our like local grocery store in Manhattan. And I go up to the girl, I'm like, so what should you eat this? I got all these nice cheeses. I'm like, so what do you eat these on? Do you eat them on celery? Or like, is cucumber better than a cracker? Like, would you use like a Triscuit for this one? She just looks at me and she goes, have you ever just tried just eating the cheese? I was like, no, I guess I haven't. And she was kind of like, because it's fucking incredible cheese. Just eat the cheese. So that's what these peanut butters are like for sure. But they're great. And you gotta, if you guys, to everyone listening, you gotta just try it. I mean, once you try it, you're gonna go crazy and you're gonna want to buy them all. But I would start, if you want to start with cherry chocolate or toffee crispy. But if you like coconut, dark chocolate coconut is amazing. That was the one we made for Kate. And she really likes coconut, so it has like more, it's very coconut, I think, is what I should say.
Do y'all ever
It's
incorporate
also
the
dark
peanut butter
chocolate.
into the bedroom?
Yeah. Where?
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is getting awfully racy.
I mean, I had to ask.
Yeah, I
it's
do.
delicious.
Listen,
so I can't
it's
help my
20
brain goes to it.
Hey, it's 2023, okay? And so I want you guys to use the correct pronoun. But yes, sometimes I will go into the bedroom with a little bit of the dark chocolate coconut and just spread it all over Kate's dick, all over her penis. And then I will become the woman that she always wanted me to be a man. So it's a very non-binary experience. And I just love doing it. It's my favorite thing.
I love that so much.
Yeah. So yes, the answer is yes. And now we all know that my husband has a penis and he's actually my wife, and I consider vaginas to be penises because they can be whatever they want to be. It's 2023.
They're versatile. Yes, that's great.
They're very versatile. So yeah, I think it's really funny. I'm like, I want to be like the Paul Newman of comedy. I just think that would be so funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next thing I'm doing, this is true, the next thing I'm doing, I'm just trying to figure it out, is pickles.
Pickles.
So
Please.
I have a guy who did, I have a guy in California named the Pickle Dude. And he does pickles. And the problem is he's super farm stand. So he really wants them, he doesn't use like preservatives as much. So they kind of really have to be refrigerated. But I think I want to come to my show and like just have like 10 jars of pickles. You
People
can
are
buy
obsessed with pickles.
just
I
10,
mean, it's a good
and
route to
that's it.
go.
People do get
I love
obsessed with
pickles so
pickles.
Yeah,
much.
there is a crowd for that.
I eat peanut butter with pickles. I've done that
What?
before. Yeah, it's delicious.
Now I have to
You gotta try
try
it. Don't knock it till you try
I
it.
know. I
Exactly.
said I have to try it, but I'm like,
Which of
little
your
concerned.
peanut butters goes best with a cucumber?
Yes. Pickle.
Dark chocolate coconut.
Dark chocolate coconut.
Easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Blair-
With cucumber, fresh cucumber.
Blair, do you have any follow-up questions about the bedroom and the cucumber?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to know?
You know I'm thinking things, but I'll just
Blair
leave it
wants to know if you've
myself.
taken any pickles into the bedroom.
Yeah. Well, here's what happens. We put the cucumber in my vagina and we wait for like 2 or 3 months.
It turns into a pickle.
Hey, did you have to say that?
Could have left it unsaid.
You could have left it crunchy.
You could have left it
Right?
crunchy.
It's
I
more
took it
crunch
creamy.
for your cumber. It's more crunch for your cumber. Any of the 3 of you only like smooth peanut butter?
Oh, I love crunchy.
Yeah, I could go either way.
I've gotten weird as I've gotten older, like extra crunch. for
On a
me.
sandwich, creamy. On anything else, crunchy.
Okay.
It does change
Interesting.
things.
I
I
like
know.
that.
I don't usually think about the sandwich aspect of it. I exclusively eat crunchy peanut butter. I think
Exclusively
people that
crunchy.
only eat exclusively. I think people that only eat smooth peanut butter are not prepared for the challenges they'll face in their life.
Live life on the edge with crunchy.
Yeah, live life crunchy. I don't have to tell you guys that.
Yeah.
You're rocking it with these right now.
Preaching
it on
to
the
the choir.
That is awesome. And there hadn't been any real innovation in the peanut butter game in like forever. We
No.
only had the 2 brands, and those 2 brands offered crunchy and not crunchy. Nutella came along and broke
Yeah.
all the rules, but it kind of plateaued after that. It's nice to
So,
see
yeah.
someone take the reins and really get into the craft peanut butter, TPB
Yeah, I mean,
and J.
get after peanut better. PB&J peanut better.
Peanut
Yeah.
better.
You gotta get my cherry chocolate, okay? Because don't buy that goober shit. That Smucker's fucking jelly and what the fuck are they doing? Disgusting.
Bastardizing it.
I go in a grocery store, I urinate all over that entire section.
Get the shit out of here.
Disgusting.
Well, TJ, we like to play a game on every episode, and our Crunchtastic R&D department came up with something tastefully inappropriate for you. The adult entertainment industry loves to parody popular movies and TV shows, and when you have a filmography like yours, there's some overlap. If you'll indulge us, I'd like to throw out a few titles, and you tell us if it's a real porn parody or made up.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah.
That's so fun.
You guys really keep it crunchy. Okay, go ahead.
Trying.
All right, we're going to start nice and easy. Ready Player Fun.
You're here on the crunch time. It's crunch time with the Crunch Bunch. We're crunching it up, Crunch Dog style. Non-stop crunch with the non-stop Crunch Bunch.
This is the Crunch Hour.
We got a double crunch block, back-to-back crunches. It's the Crunch Bunch.
The Crunch Bunch.
I
We
don't
won't even
hate
stop
that.
for a crunch lunch.
Don't hate that. Stop for lunch with
Okay,
the Crunch
Ready
Bunch.
Player Fun?
Ready Player Fun.
Ready Player Fun?
Real or fake porn
Fake.
parody? Fake?
Fake.
That was real. Ready Player Fun is real and fun for the whole fam.
Is it?
What?
I was looking for a Ready Player One porn parody, and that was what popped up. Very strange.
Family friendly porn parody?
Is it? It's not real. Is it real or not?
It is real, but it's not fun for the whole fam.
That was a lot.
Oh, I see. That's funny.
That's
Wow,
fun.
geez, I can't believe that Ready Player Fun.
Weird name.
I'm gonna look these up.
You got no. Fact check us here. All right, next
Okay.
one. Deadpool.
Deadpool has got to be real.
It's got to be real. Like,
That was fake. That
What?
was made
Made
up.
up.
What?
Deadpool.
you made that up?
Made that up.
Like, why are you so good at
That's
that?
great.
You're good at this
Yeah.
game.
That's
Blake.
great. I know.
Deadpool? That's amazing.
All right.
Okay.
How to drain your dragon.
Please be real.
I want it to be real. You know what I mean?
We all want this
We
to
all
be real.
want it to be real. And that was fake, actually.
Ah.
No
Really?
real How to Drain Your Dragon. It's sitting right there, and it comes with a ready-to-made sequel, How to Drain Two Dragons. It's just it's sitting right there for the taking.
Ready to be made.
All right.
Wow. I absolutely love that.
How about Get Him in the Greek?
In the creek.
In the creek. I think that's fake.
That is correct. He's got one there.
He's on the book.
Okay. How about the goods get hard, stay hard?
I wish, but no, that's fake. That was a good one, though.
That's a good one. He's on a roll now. He's picking it up. Okay.
I'd watch that.
Cock of ages.
Stop.
That's got to be real, right?
100% real. He's getting it.
These are good. They're just- yeah. You said that, and I was like, "What movie was I in?" It would have been Cock of. I was like, "Oh, Rock of."
See, you got to work off your own filmography. You're like, yeah, what is Cock of Ages?
Yeah, that's how many
I
things
did
I've
that?
been. All right, go ahead.
Seeking a friend to bone like it's the end of the world.
No. Stop. Tyler loves
I
it.
mean,
That's one of my favorite movies.
Tyler loves it. Tyler's in it.
Tyler's in it.
Tyler wrote the script, and he's in it. That was his dream.
I played
love
your
Friends.
part.
That's got to be. That's fake, right?
That is fake. Correct.
Oh.
He's on fire. All right. Genital extract.
Stop.
I know that's not real, but I'm gonna say it is because I'll take the.
You had it
L.
right that it was fake. He was like, I know it's not real.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know it's not real, but I'll take the loss on that one. It's so good.
My brain went to a lot of different places when you said that.
Yeah, genital extract. Yeah, what are you extracting? Because
Yeah, there's
all
a
right,
lot
I
to
don't think
unpack.
I don't think Ready Player Fun. I don't think is a real porn.
That was
I
real.
found a Reddit thread.
You better not be cheating.
/immersive porn. Okay, and I want to tell you guys something. It's not safe for work. It's Ready Player Fun, the world of adult VR games. And you know what it says right below that?
What?
Be the first to comment. Nobody is responding.
Nobody cares.
That's how unreal it is. There's a Reddit thread that nobody has commented on. Where will you send me? I love that.
He needs
Yeah.
your fact check.
Yes,
he
we-
doesn't believe you.
We could
Don't you
send you
try and
these.
cheat.
We have a few more on the list here too. We could send you those. No problem.
Okay.
That was really
Uh-oh,
fun.
guess what?
Thank you for doing that. What?
No, that was so
It's
fun.
on
Jay
Pornhub.
Weil. It is on Pornhub. I bet.
I'm
exactly
looking at
what
it
I'm
right
looking
now.
at.
Blair
on Pornhub.
is
Yeah,
halfway
it's
through
Ready-
Ready Player Fun right now.
I'm all the way through it. And
All right,
Ready
and
Player
this-
2 is
This
starting
one
next.
is Ready Player 2.
See?
It's jwild.com. Okay, I stand corrected.
Hey!
There was another one as well, but
I
the name
stand
wasn't good.
corrected. Wait, hold on.
You know,
This is not a porn. This is just this girl reading from the book.
What if it gets wild after the
Hey,
Pornhub's not?
that's just how it starts.
Yeah,
You
that's
got-
the warm
You gotta
up.
wait for the big twist. That's just the first act.
No, I found my way through the entire 25-minute movie.
I know how to sift through pretty quickly.
So Ready Player Fun is not that fun, is what you're saying.
Ready Player 2. What is
Way
Ready
better.
Player Fun?
I like-
That's where the goods are.
I like how we're critiquing some of these right here.
We
after
didn't
the
say they were
game.
5-star.
just made him.
We'd have
I
to
love,
review
I
it.
love also that Blair's like, I'm on Pornhub right now. Currently looking for it.
I hate when y'all
yeah,
make me like
yeah.
pull up the hub.
Well, here's two knuckles
You need
deep
me
on
book-
Pornhub over here.
Pull up the hub. Yeah, that's fun. You and your sister is like, I'm on Pornhub right now. Like,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So it makes it a fun
See.
dynamic.
At least my husband's in the room as well.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit better.
That does help. Jesus God. That's pretty amazing. All right. Well, I didn't really find Ready Player Fun, so I guess you should include that with all of the recommendations you have for what to do in Phoenix. I can't wait to go to this guy's. Can't wait to go to this guy's pizza place. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you gotta check out the pizza place. I mean, you've been to Phoenix before. Any places that you particularly like to sweat around here?
Well, here's the thing. That's part of the reason that I am playing this club downtown, because usually I'm in Scottsdale and I don't really go into Phoenix because I'm just up there working, and there's like a little kind of cool outdoor downtown thing. And I also, they own a speakeasy and a breakfast bar, and they kind of have everything you need there. But I got to get into the Phoenix of it all, man.
Got to get into the
I
Phoenix.
want to know all about it.
Speakeasies have really made a comeback now.
I love
they're popping
everywhere.
up everywhere.
There's a few around town.
Everybody loves speakeasies. The cocktail culture is coming back, which I'm excited about.
Yes.
I like cocktails more than I like beer. I
Yes,
think, so
agreed.
I'm excited about that.
What's your favorite cocktail?
I love anything with egg whites in it.
Anything with egg? I was not expecting you to say
That's
that.
not the answer. I
Yum,
was
yum,
expecting.
yum. It's breakfast. Let's get shit-faced at 9:30 a.m. No yolks, please. I'm watching my cholesterol.
Hold the yolk.
Two
Make it a
shots.
double. Yeah, right, exactly. We just had the same joke at the
Yeah.
same time. Now we're joke friends.
We have the same name too.
Now we're-
I mean, we look
Now we're
alike.
joke friends. Now we're yoke friends.
It is weird.
Uh,
You do have some ties to Tyler. Not only is he also a TJ, you even kind of weirdly look alike.
part of his combo.
Like he could be part of like your like a cousin of yours or something.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Bloodlined.
You think so?
Yeah, similar.
We're the Millers.
It's possible.
We're the Miller.
Has your father had sex with my mother?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Like,
Yeah.
that could
Wouldn't
be.
put it past. I wouldn't put it past her. Who knows what's going on with her?
We've had surprise siblings and people come up, so you never know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
I know we got to get you out of here soon. Before we let you go, you mentioned Dear Jonah, and that's the YouTube comedy special that you had come out a few months back. That turned out to be a really unique set, and it has a really touching story behind it. Tell us about how the special got its name and how it evolved into what was released.
I looked up something crunchy Tyler, and it's not quite. I don't think it's you, unless you look like Tyler the Creator eating French toast crunch.
That's not. That's not
No.
Um,
Tyler the Creator and I might have some resemblance.
yeah, I think there's something going on there. It's Tyler Dressler, right?
Tyler Dressel, yes.
Dressel, yep.
There's also a U.S. swimmer that's with the same name. That's not me.
Is he crunchy?
He is pretty crunchy.
He is pretty crunchy.
Very.
It is. Are you on LinkedIn? That's the most important thing.
Yep, I am.
You are. All right. Yeah, we do kind of look similar.
Kind of. That
Yeah.
LinkedIn picture is kind of old. Blake, did you send him
That's
one?
okay. But yeah, our
But there's
teeth
a
are the
little
same.
similarities.
People have come up to
Yeah,
me
we-
and say, "You know who you look like?" And I'm like, "Prince William." They're like, "Nope, T.J. Miller." And I go, "Huh."
Oh my god!
he
Oh
gets-
my
Awesome.
god! That's hilarious because people used to say that about me, but now, just like you, people come to me and they're like, "Did anybody ever tell you look like T.J. Miller?" I'll be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
actually a lot."
Actually.
And
Once
they're
or
like,
twice.
"I mean, you look a lot." I'm like, "No, I look more like T.J. Miller than anybody else in the world." Okay, I look exactly like T.J. Miller.
What do you say that?
Yeah. It was really fascinating. I was going to do a pandemic special, which would have ended up kind of being boring. I was going to call it the pandemic special because I had all this material from the pandemic, and the pandemic's kind of over. So I was like, well, I better get a special out of it and then kind of move on from it. And people didn't want to hear about the pandemic anymore at all. And
Yeah.
so I set out to do a special with using that material. And I went to Nashville, Tennessee, because that club in Nashville, Zanies, is really fun. And I also went there because it's a great audience. And also I had a really funny idea for the background.
That was,
Like
it was
the,
great.
like the set, yeah, like the stage.
All the
set.
different names from like
yeah, the
made up
different
names of
fake
comedy
names.
clubs. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's just like, the chuckle bucket and like uncomfortable silences and crickets and the ass hat. And it's really funny.
Crickets.
I mean, that makes me laugh so much. And so, Blair, like you said, crickets. I think that's the most clever of all of them.
It
and that's
got
what stuck
me.
out to me. So I went there to do that, and I just wasn't looking to, like riff with the audience. Like, it was just important for me to get this out there. And with any special, you're really looking for just one audience that becomes the base of the special, like the groundwork.
Right.
And then you'll cherry pick and drop in stuff from other shows. It's a little bit better. So I went into first show, it didn't go well because I was like too aware of the cameras. That's first show Friday. Then late show Friday, I went out there and I started doing my jokes, and the audience second show Friday, which is usually a disaster, was amazing. They were so fucking incredible. It was like amazing. And so And just then, my mind wandered to Mario Lopez and what a fucking asshole he is. All right, so
I love
okay,
that.
Fuck Slater.
yeah, that was bad.
There's like
So
3 or
the
4
deal
times a
was-
day that I just blank because of Mario Lopez being an asshole.
Totally.
Yeah, happens all the time. Happens literally all the time. So I get out there and I start doing this Late Show Friday. It's amazing. Immediately the audience is incredible. I'm like, I've got it. I found it. It's perfect. And then some fucking asshole in the front row starts heckling me. And I'm like, okay, just ignore him and it'll go away. He's just drunk. It's Friday, second show, but he's the only. And the guy keeps heckling me. But it's weird heckling. Like he must be so drunk that he's like, that's true. Yeah, I agree with that. And just like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I've done that. And I'm just like, oh my God. So then finally I'm like, all right, I guess I got to deal with this guy. So I ask him about his cargo pants and he goes in this really long, really kind of sweet explanation of why he wears cargo pants, but he doesn't keep anything in the pockets, but he likes them. He likes the way they feel. So it's cargo pants. That's why he wears cargo pants all the time. And it's immediately clear to me and everyone else in the room that he is not drunk at all. He's like developmentally challenged.
Oh,
And so it was really a moment where the audience was like, what is TJ going to do?
It's going to happen here.
Like,
Yeah.
is he going to make fun of this kid? Is he going to just move big? Like, what is he going to do? And I just say to the audience, like, I want you guys to know that I am not going to make fun of this guy at all. And they just exploded with
Aw.
applause and laughter.
Erupted. It was a
And-
great reaction.
Yeah, totally. Because they
That's
were like,
great.
oh, it was a tension release. It was so interesting. But then he's like such a sweet kid. And it was really funny. So then I like interacted with him again. And then he kind of interacted with me. And slowly he becomes sort of intertwined with the entire show to the point where he has the funniest line in the special. And the closer has to do with him. And at one point I do one bit that's like just for him and like directed at him because I just knew he would love it. And it ends up being this special that is somehow like really funny, but also really beautiful and kind of touching.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird. And like, he's coming to my show at the end of the year. I'm so excited to talk to him about what he thinks about it.
Oh, how
And-
awesome.
Yeah, and then his high school counselor watched it and went on and left a comment that said that she started crying at the end. It's just so fun because I sort of lift him up to be the star of the night, and he doesn't like really want to and everything. And it's just such a great special. And I really encourage people to watch it in its entirety. It's not long. It's like 47 minutes. But the real problem is people say, oh, I saw Dear Jonah. And I'm like, really? What did you think? Was it great? And like, yeah. I'm like, what did you think of that part where this happened? He's like, I just saw a clip, where you interact with that kid. And so everybody's kind of just watching clips now. And I get it. Like I have friends like Big J Okerson, I like haven't even finished his special. And then it took me like a month to get through Ari Shafir's special. Just because you just don't have time for anything.
Right.
Everything else is something that needs to be done or needs to be watched.
That's
or
why
this.
those digestible clips
So-
are really helpful, though, because you kind of piece it all together and have seen it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to cut a special out of the Philosophy Circus and a special out of the Gentle Giant, but I'm probably just going to take the clips of each of the bits and put them online now.
You should.
Yeah.
Like
should. That's smart.
as I finish them, I'm just going to put them online because it's so hard to like get anybody to sit and watch an entire hour of something. And that's frustrating because, you produce these specials. And in my case, there's 7 cameras, 6 operators, lighting design, all this stuff goes into this. And it ends up that people, aren't going to really make their way through the entire thing. And you've sort of crafted but it doesn't matter. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is now. And the Gentle Giant is going to be interesting. Philosophy Circus has like juggling and like an audience member plays the trombone and there's more terrible ventriloquism. And then it's also like, philosophy stuff about life and time and death and everything. And then The Gentle Giant is really just stories about me, about kind of my life and things that, you know, funny stories, the time I accidentally did heroin, the time I accidentally did cocaine, and which everyone's like, that's not possible. What did you just fall over into a pile of cocaine, you just trip, and you're like, ah!
Went right at my nose.
But so, yeah, right. Blair killing it. My favorite is 3 for sure, without a doubt. Tyler, not too far behind. I forget the third guy's name.
I know.
So,
Sorry. Step it
up. So I'm excited because, you know, that special is more of sort of showing people who I am, which I think is really important. And that I am, like, I started off as a comic. And just a lot of people don't know that I'm a stand-up comic. And that's been a really weirdly challenging thing. That people come to my show and they go, oh my God, you know, I saw you knew you from movies and stuff, but you're actually really funny. I'm like, yeah, I know. You don't have to say actually I'm pretty. You can say, yeah, you can just say I was funny. But it's true that America knows me very much as just an actor in voiceover television and film.
Not anymore.
But
I don't think so.
no, you're right. Now they understand it more, but more of this content is going to be really helpful.
For sure.
And I think it's going to be helpful to release the Spokane special, the San Francisco special, and the Springfield, Missouri special, the Crowdwork special, because there's that too. Like that's a big part of it too. So all these facets and all this stuff. So I'm really excited because it's sort of a new era. And I realized too that I fucking, my joke is that I told Mark Norman, I'm like, oh God, man, I think I wasted 10 years of my life acting. I don't know how I'm going to be able to catch up with the stand-up. And he was like, no, you were still doing sets, man. You always up, always around. But it's like, I've only been a full-time stand-up for like 5 years, and that's including the pandemic. So really only 3.5 years. And although I was doing stand-up all the way through and touring all the time and doing sets, that's what was really tough. It's when I was filming Silicon Valley, I would finish a 14-hour day, then go right out and do 1 or 2 shows.
Wow.
Then hang out and talk about the shows, and then get back home at whatever, midnight or something, and have to get up at 5 a.m. to go to call. And I was doing that for every single night because that's just my work ethic. And so what happened was some of the people, you know, it's just I would show up exhausted and still kind of be able to get the job done, you know? And I think some people on the set resented that or thought that I didn't want to be there or didn't care about the job. And it was quite the opposite. It's just I was also trying to maintain, you know, my growth as a stand-up comic and doing stand-up comedy.
Because everyone has seen you in Silicon Valley and all these different movies, it does help bring people in to see and learn about you as being a stand-up. So I think one helps the other.
Yeah, one hand washes the other foot.
That's right.
It's
Something like that.
I feel badly for keeping you long. I really do appreciate your time.
Oh, this
Thank
has
you
been
for being
great, man.
so generous with your time.
Oh, you guys are great. I mean, you know, sometimes these things are so fucking painful. But I checked out your stuff beforehand, and it's just like, I don't know. You guys are very funny, and it's filled with whimsy, and you decide, you know, like I said, I love people who kind of don't give a fuck enough that it ain't nothing but a good time.
Yeah,
that's us.
That's from the movie Cock of Ages.
I thought I recognized that line.
And so it's been a really crunchy time, I guess is what I'm saying.
TJ,
That's awesome.
You have been absolutely amazing.
Makes our day, seriously.
Thank you.
And we'll be at Saturday show. Please let us know if you need anything while you're in town. I'm going to hit up that merch table.
Okay,
hard.
guys, thank you so much. It's been great. Marijuana.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, marijuana.
No problem, TJ. I got you.
Stick around and say hello afterwards, and let's have a drink.
Absolutely.
I would love that.
Would
But I
love
want
it.
to see your 2 beautiful faces and the one that looks like mine.
We'll be there.
Can't wait.
All right, guys. See
We
you
will be
Saturday.
there. Thank you.
much.
See ya.
Sounds good.
Bye, TJ.
But non-stop crunch bunch on crunch lunch.
We had to let him go, but TJ will be here Friday, June 23rd and Saturday the 24th at Stand Up Live in Phoenix. Tickets are still available at phoenix.standuplive.com, but they are going fast. Don't forget to check out Cashin' In with TJ Miller, a very funny podcast available on all listening platforms. Follow Not TJ Miller on TikTok and stay well informed on what he's up to at tjmillerdoesnothaveawebsite.com. That's where you can find all of the peanut butter, hot sauce, tour news, links for all of his good shit. That was awesome. He's exactly how you would want him to be.
Yeah.
He likes to bring fun to people and make people happy, put a smile on your face. And that's what he did for us. We're all sitting here with the biggest smiles. And just like a feel-good guy.
My favorite part of the interview is talking about the directors and the Michael Bay sex tape. And I just really think that would be if you had a Steven Spielberg biopic, but just in the middle, cut to Michael Bay sex tape.
It's gonna be shot beautifully.
Action packed.
Be getting all the angles you really want.
3D loads shooting over shoulders.
The close-up shots.
Exactly. Yes, I want the high budget, lots of effects, Wilhelm screams.
I want to feel the smile. The Wilhelm scream.
Wilhelm scream right at the climax.
I'm about to.
Cock of ages. He loved that.
So good.
He loved that because he has to go through his own filmography and kind of figure it out for the clues.
What is it? Player one.
Ready Player Fun.
Ready Player Fun. He didn't believe.
No, he was on it.
He was watching. He just didn't see any
He fast forwarded through all 25 minutes.
He just needed more action.
It was more of like a never-ending story kind of a deal. It's like a girl reading a book.
He was not the first guest to request getting sent the list of real and fake porn parodies after playing that game, but he was the first to fact check while in the middle of doing it.
I love
Not
that.
even gonna wait until I'm done recording. I'm jumping on right now.
No, I was like, I need to see.
He was having a good time with you guys as well.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, we'll go have a drink with TJ after the show on Saturday. That's going to be awesome.
How fun. Mom's going to love that.
I was going to say, we didn't even tell him that we're bringing the shoosh. We're bringing the best laugh in Phoenix to your show.
West of the Mississippi.
I mean, we go see most all of the comedians that come through, especially if we hadn't seen them before. We make an effort to go and see all the good shows that come into town. And we've been consistent about that for a long time. But every year or two, we bring in the mom just to get her out of the house. And so she didn't have to babysit. She gets to come and get some laughs too. She brings the laugh.
She does.
She does.
And TJ, we bring her to shows that we feel like we're going to get 100% laughs.
Well, I'm treating at the merch table.
I need cherry chocolate peanut butter.
I want hot sauce.
Tyler
I want the
and
hot
need
sauce
to
for
explore
sure.
with all the things.
Well, we need a extreme gangster for here in the studio.
Obviously.
I could finish off this toffee nut crisp real
You're
quick.
Tub of crisp.
Got a crack full of toffee nut.
Trying to keister the chocolate cherry over here.
New Dream Car giveaway over at 8080. In addition to the 15% off you get for using code CRUNCHY, every dollar you spend gets you entered in for a chance to win a brand new Lamborghini plus $60,000 in cash. You do not want to miss out. Nor do you want to forget to check out SomethingCrunchy.com, where you'll find every episode, our links for social media, and the Almighty Crunch Store, where you'll find all kinds of crunchy gear showing that you are a proud citizen of Crunch Nation. Join us every Friday night at 10 o'clock on 97.3 The Rattler, or find us wherever you get your podcast. This has been another episode of Something Crunchy, and as always,
Don't ever forget to live your crunchiest life.
And be crunchy to one another.
Please don't forget to subscribe, follow, and all that crunchy good shit. All episodes can be found at somethingcrunchy.com and on all podcast platforms. Thank you for listening.
Hello, is something crunchy? Something crunchy in here, or is it just me? Hi guys, how are you?
Awesome, doing great.
Really good, Blake. This is it, man. Well, hello, Blair. So this is really a family affair.
this is a family affair, yes.
Sorry, guys. So there's a young fellow that wasn't able to get into the hotel, so I had to let him in, and that kind of bothered me because I was just about to say it's a family affair, but it is not fucking family fucking friendly, and I couldn't do that because he wasn't able to go through the door. So he fucked up my timing on that joke. Little piece of shit. I was checking out your 420 episode, and that was pretty fucking fun, actually.
Oh,
man. Thank you.
I guess what I'm saying is something's really crunchy right now.
Yes, TJ.
Blair's like, I'm on Pornhub right now. Currently looking for it.
I hate when y'all make me pull up the hub.
Well, here's two knuckles
You need
deep
me
on
put-
Pornhub over here.
Pull up the hub.